a new smaller Canon camera I'm really excited about. It's not as heavy, so I think my handhelds will be a little bit less like this. Excited to bring you guys better content. Gonna be using that in some of my vlogs now. My hip has been bugging me a little bit these last couple of weeks. We have a team doctor, Dr. Quinn, the PT. I think we've decided I've torn my other labrum and gonna just kind of train through it, but back off this week and let the inflammation kind of go down. So there are some new things that I'm adding into my squat warm-up right now, and I'm gonna take you guys through those today. I'm focusing a lot on making sure my hips are square and my pelvis is nice and aligned before I squat. When it first started bugging me, I was finding that I was squatting with the hip that's bugging me foot further back than the other one, so I was standing with my lower body crooked and my upper body straight. So right now I'm really working on making sure both glutes are firing correctly before I warm up and in the correct position. So I don't want a strong glute on one side with my hip pulled back in the socket and strong on the other side with the hip pulled all the way front. I want them both centered. So doing some kind of alignment work and some different styles of activation for my glutes for squats. And I'm also gonna go through some cues that I'm currently using for my squats, and specifically on front squats because I have a front squat workout today. Today is Valentine's Day, so I have my red virus on for Valentine's Day, and I'm making cinnamon rolls. Hubby helped on these. I can't take full credit. Yum. Worth mentioning, those cinnamon rolls are the low-fat Pillsbury kind, and they have great macros. About to hit the gym and go get warmed up for squats. So first thing I like to do when I get to the gym is ride the bike for like 10 minutes, get some blood flow into my legs. It really helps my knees warm up when I do it like that. And then I'm gonna work on this torture device for a little while. I got this ball from Rogue. It's like 40 bucks, but it's been a lifesaver when I'm traveling. Always want to be doing some foam rolling, make sure my fascia is staying loose and healthy. And this can pack in my gym bag or my suitcase really easy when I travel, and I use it for training every day too. So I'm going to work on this on my quads and my glutes and get into my hip flexor. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, and then go through those activation exercises. So I'm making sure I'm centered, lift, pull it back, and then I'm going to do some flexions, holding the position as well. for the full range, about 8, and then 8 of the little baby movements too. And then doing the other side, and then doing it again on both sides, so 2 rounds. So the second exercise Quinn has me working on is kind of getting everything firing at the same time, as well as working on the pelvis alignment. So for this one you need a foam roller, and it's going to be against the wall, going 90 degrees in both the hip and the knees. Then you're going to work on squeezing the foam roller together and pulling down so your hamstrings activate, as well as pushing up against the kettlebell to flex the abs. So everything is getting turned on at the same time. Everything squeezed into the foam roller, abs tight, hamstrings turned on, everything kind of firing at the same time. Then I'm lifting my tailbone and doing about 4 deep breaths in every exhale, trying to really tighten my abs and squeeze the foam roller even more. Really locks in all of those hip stabilizers and gets your core and your glutes and your hamstrings, everything firing at once, so I'm kind of more primed and ready to do my squat workout. Sorry, the gym was super loud when I decided to record this video, so that music was unfortunate while I was talking. Some of these other things I am featuring in the video are things I've talked about in older videos. There I was doing the basic ankle stretch, and here I'm doing a form of goblet squats, and then the traditional goblet squats, working on tracking my knees forward and getting my ankle and knee joint to bend at the same time. Next here I'm doing some monster walks with the Mark Bell slingshot. I warm up with this thing every day. I've done some other videos on these types of glute warm-ups, walking forward and sideways, then some mini squats with it on, and into some full range squats, just getting the glutes nice and toasty before I squat with any weight on the bar. This next one is just a basic hip hinge. I've also learned this from the slingshot guys, warming up the hammies. Valentine's Day! I'm going to go over some of the main cues I'm working on with my squat right now, especially on my front squat. The top 3 are going to be tracking my knees forward, keeping my quads engaged, and keeping my abs tight. The first one, talking about pushing the knees forward, I'm really trying to work on getting my squat as upright as possible. I have tight ankles. I've had 5 ankle surgeries, so this is super difficult for me. So I'm really working on pushing my knees forward, which is going to load the quads more than the back and glutes, which is what I'm stronger at. The next thing is keeping my quads engaged the whole time. I have a habit of, in the hole, letting my legs basically relax and using the bounce a little too much. So I'm trying to focus on keeping my quads tight while I get the bounce and turn around from the spring. And lastly, keeping my abs locked in the entire squat, taking a big breath into the belly instead of the chest, and pushing into the belt and keeping the abs tight the entire full range of motion during the squat. All 3 of those probably sound simple and basic, but sometimes the little stuff adds up to big stuff. Focusing on these small changes on my squats are allowing me to hit rep PRs week after week right now. Breaking it down to basics sometimes can have big payout. little higher up in the bottom than I normally am, but they were really tight and solid today, so that was good. Worked up to 105 for 3 and then did some drop sets. I hope some of that warm-up stuff and the cues I'm working on maybe help some of you guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I got a lot of cool stuff coming soon. We've got a meet at Juggernaut this weekend. I'm gonna try to film some of the other girls' lifts. And that's it for this one. I'll see you in the next one.